Mute. Chile. Excellent morning, my permanent secretary, Mr. Samson Ajibade. I've seen a lot of PAMSECs that have joined. Excellent morning, Mrs. Adekoye. Mr. Osiefa is already with us. I want to welcome each and every one of us to webinar for retirees today on behalf of the head of service. I also want to officially wish you a happy new year. Today, our topic is staying healthy, financially healthy in retirement. Staying financially healthy in retirement. Without wasting much of our time, I would like to invite the permanent secretary to, on behalf of the head of service, declare this webinar open. The PS, sir. Please unmute yourself and go ahead, sir. Please unmute, sir, and go ahead. Okay, I think he's just coming up. I see Mr. Sanut. You are welcome, sir. Good to have you on webinar for retirees today. I welcome each and every one of us. You can please unmute, sir, and go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning, dear participants. Special greetings to my retired colleagues, Mr. Abiodun Osiefa, Mrs. Adekoye, Dr. Oduwole, Mr. Sanut, and all our other directors, Mrs. Odejayi, and all other directors and other senior citizens. On behalf of the head of service, I say good morning to us all, Mr. Lediju, the rest of them. I want to appreciate your consistency in these webinar programs. So I want to appreciate you. And once again, say Happy New Year to every one of us. The good Lord will continue to be with us and strengthen us and endow us with sound health to see us through this year 2022 in good health. I also want to appreciate the facilitator, a guru, Mrs. Jiboye, one of our very experienced and respected trainers at the PSSDC then. I appreciate you, ma. Good morning, ma. God will continue to be with you, and thank you for honoring our invite. Well, I think the topic of discussion is quite very clear to us. It's quite apt and very clear, staying financially healthy in retirement. And I know there's nothing I can say that Mrs. Jiboye will not do justice to, because she's a very versatile trainer. And we really appreciate her, and one of those we look up to, a very good ambassador of the state. Well, I will only advise us that we listen attentively to the facilitator, who is quite experienced and well-equipped to do justice to this topic. My advice is just to, what we usually say when we go for the send forth ceremony led by Mrs. Drodola, the Ogasope, and anytime they are emphasizing the Ogasope, it has to do with financial advice. How you spend your terminal benefits, not falling into traps of those who are waiting you to introduce various business to you, scammers here and there. Always advising people how to be very careful of such, how to advise us that this is not the time for frivolous spending, since the source of income, regular income, is now affected. You only get a certain percentage of it. It is not a time for mori oye, like I said the other time to some people, nearing exits, all other things being equal, aside those through not their making, have delay concerning the fruits of the womb. For those of us whom God has blessed, don't see elevation, don't see your exit as a time to get a new wife, start producing children. The little you have is meant for you to enjoy your life and keep yourself very active. I wouldn't belabor us with this, because I know we have a competent hand to do justice to this. So it's on that note, I want to welcome us on board, and to, on behalf of the head of service, Mr. Akim Muri Okola, declare this webinar, the first of its kind in the year 2022, open, and to wish all the best, fruitful deliberation. I will also be with you, because I also want to get one or two things. Since I'm preparing to join you in April this year, God willing. So it's very apt for me to also stay glued to my and listen attentively, so that I also can be guided. Thank you very much. I wish all the best in the course of the webinar meeting. Thank you, and remain blessed.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me use this opportunity once again to welcome Mrs. Odejayi to this webinar. I also saw that former Auditor General, former Accountant General also joined us, Mr. David Sumoni. You are welcome. Without wasting our time, let me properly introduce Mrs. Kemisola Rosamond Jiboye, who happens to be our facilitator for today. Mrs. Kemisola, a graduate of English and Yoruba, a seasoned trainer and a facilitator with over 35 years of experience. Our areas of specialty include general management, entrepreneurship development, business development, gender and women empowerment. She's a fellow, Nigerian Institute of Management, Chartered, fellow, International Community Education Association, an affiliate member, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, and member of Nigerian Institute of Training and Development. A certified International Labour Organization trainer on the Start and Improve Your Business, and a licensed master trainer of ILO SYB program. Mrs. Kemisola Rosamond Jiboye retired as the head of Directorate of Programs, Lagos State Public Service Staff Development Center, Lagos State. You are welcome, Pastor Mrs. Kemisola Jiboye. You have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Drodola. God bless you.
Amen.
I say excellent morning to everyone. Excellent morning to retired permanent secretary, directors, and all senior citizens. I'm happy to be here, and I say Happy New Year. I pray that this will be a very glorious, prosperous year in Jesus' name. I'm happy to be here. I love interacting. Thank you so much. I appreciate that I'm invited, that I'm considered able to facilitate this session. I want to thank the Post Service Department of the Public Service Office. I'm grateful that you think I can do this justice. And by the grace of God, I trust that we will do justice to this together, because I'm not doing it alone. Nobody knows everything. As we say in training, everybody knows something. I know that most of us have knowledge of this, and I even believe all of us, to a certain extent or to a great extent. Notwithstanding, because I've been asked to coordinate this session, let's hit the ground running. Stay financially healthy in retirement. Before I retired from service, I remember running many retirement programs. In my department, we ran many programs on retirement, and in those days, people were normally afraid that why are you inviting us for retirement? Because they felt that they were being invited because they were to be laid off or something. I don't know how they got that idea. You know how people imagine things that are not real at times. So I remember having to counsel people that retirement will come. That's why we are preparing you ahead of retirement. And eventually it came to me too. And all those years mentally, I was getting ready. I thank God that we're all here today. The concept of retirement has changed in recent decades. Formerly, people believe that when you retire, that's the end of the world for you. They imagine you sitting in a corner. Even till today, I find out that many people, when they learn that I've retired, they seem shocked, as if I should not be going about. I should not be going about. I should just be staying in one point. No. The concept of retirement has changed. Not because we work every day, but because there's still life after retirement. Retirement does not mean that we are there. In quote, retirement means that we have left, paid employment, and then we are in another, aspects of our lives. So today's retirees, they travel, they volunteer, they pursue hobbies, and even continue working, in some capacity. Of course, we are not expected to be doing like 9 to 6 job. No, but even if you say you want to do it, nobody is going to stop you. But that is not the expectation of anybody, because we believe that at that time, the work you're doing should be lesser, because you have done a lot of work most of your life. As a retiree, you can do anything you want as long as your health and finances permit it. Through exercise, proper diet, and abundance of bad habits, you can do a lot to stay physically healthy. We are talking about financial health, but if one has financial health and there's no physical health, that's not good enough. That's why we always advise that we are always advised that we take exercises. I remember when my mother retired, I remember her putting on her canvas, her sneakers, walking around the house, trying to make sure her body is, the blood is flowing very well, and she's in shape. I think if you want to enjoy the money that we have, however much or little it is, by identifying your retirement goals and estimating their financial impacts, you will know how to stay financially healthy in your retirement. Before we retire, we are supposed to have some goals. I always advise people, I say, what do you want to do when you retire? How do you want your life to be? even if because of the uncertainty of life, if you are not sure of how exactly it will be, you can predetermine some certain things, as goals for your retirement. Some people want to travel. I think most people all over the world, if you look at survey, most people want to travel. At least take some part of that money to see the world, what they have not done. They want to do some of these things. They want to pursue hobbies. They want to volunteer. They want to, whatever they want to do. So they want to do that. So, but you have to identify your goals before you retire. I remember, telling myself, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. At times, the reality may not exactly be like that. But then, because you have some goals before you retire, it will help you to know how to stay financially healthy. Like the permanent secretary said, in the last few minutes, that you cannot go about the money that you have to manage it. You have to be careful. That's why we're here. We have to be very careful the way you spend money. You have to take some certain steps to ensure that you don't go back to struggling. We are not on the same page, like he said too. I want to pick from that because I was thinking through this, that some of us, maybe we had children early. Some of us, our children are already married and having children. We have grandchildren. Some people still have, children in our institution. So we are different stages. So wherever we fit in as we go on, let's just try, to align. What does it mean to be financially healthy? If you feel financially secure and can achieve your financial goals, then you may consider yourself financially healthy. If you are secure and you're on top of it, I like saying that anything in life, it's good to be on top of it mentally. It's good to be mentally, excuse me, on top of what your finances and anything in life. Pardon me. People who are financially healthy tend to share several characteristics. So if you are healthy, how do we know? How do we know? One, they live within their means. They live within their means. It's not the time, to go on, on just spending anyhow. Like for example, we were advised during the time that they were encouraging us or trying to inspire us after retirement, that this is not the time for men to go and marry new wives, because some people say, oh, this money, if you're not careful when you see some of the money, it wants to go to people say that, oh, I can do this, I can do this. But funny enough, by the time you start touching the money, what with inflation and the issues in the world, you find out that you cannot really spend money anyhow. So you're advised to live within your means. That's one sign of being financially healthy. Live within means. That is, one should not go about spending on clothes, spending on, just on spending jamboree. They spend their money wisely. One ties to two. They spend their money wisely. It looks as if something that we know, but one has to remind oneself of this, because some people have this temptation to spend money anyhow when the money comes. So it's very important to note 1 and 2. Then, because they are spending money wisely, number 2 dovetails into 3. They are able to free up funds when required. When they need money, they are not living beyond their means, but there are certain things they have to take care of. So when they need that money, they can free the funds, free up the funds. Or I will talk about investment. I'm not going to say this is what you should invest in, but I will just advise people on how to invest. So you can free up money. Now, let's say you have some money kept, in savings, you have some money kept for some things and all that. I'm going to talk about that later, about the various ways you can, keep track with your spending. But if you have a particular investment that you are doing, it can also help you to free up funds. Or if you also have made preparation, even with the funds that you have, so you can free up funds when you require it. But guess what? This is not the time that you give anyhow. Your spending must be very, 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 strict as it can be. You have money set aside for emergency and unexpected costs. Like we say when I do business games, we give people this business game on my program, on my ILO program. I always remember that when the entrepreneurs are playing games, we give them life cards. So they don't expect it. We as trainers, they don't expect us. They are playing, they are still struggling to spend, to run the business, to buy materials on that business game. All of a sudden, we have some life cards. We just come and we tell them to pick a life card. When they pick that life card, it can be anything. Somebody got sick, God forbid, we don't want it. For example, that is, nobody said, I'm going to spend this on sickness. We will never fall sick. But life card can be somebody falls sick, something happened that you really have to attend to. So by the time they're picking it up, oh, the tax man kept calling. So many things, unexpected calls. That's what we know. When they pick it, they say, but we don't expect it. We say we are simulating life. Things can happen. So anybody that is financially healthy will have had money put aside for the rainy days, so they say. So it's very, very important to have money set aside for emergency and unexpected costs. May God protect us from anything that is evil. But when there is not even evil alone, what about good things that happen that need you to spend money on? They avoid excessive borrowing and feel in control of money they own. Now, this applies to everybody, whether you are retired or not. This financial health, when I was trying to do some research, look through what I know, what I need to know more about, I found out that there's nothing here that doesn't apply to people that are retired and people that are not retired. If there's tendency for you to want to borrow, maybe because of certain situations in life, I don't know, but let's say that happens, you have to avoid excessive borrowing. And then if you want to borrow, like if you know that you can repay. I remember some of my people in business, they borrow money. But do you know that before the money they borrow, before they can even borrow the money, they themselves know they can repay? That is an example of financial health. People say, no, I don't want to borrow. I'm not saying we should borrow at this stage, but I want us to know how to be financially healthy. They say, I don't want to borrow money. I don't want to. But some of them find that because they want greater investment in their business. I have friends like that. They have to go and borrow money. But before they do that, either they are borrowing from the bank or from other people. They know they can repay. The people that want to give them money also know they have evidence of being able to repay. It's also financial health, that you are able to borrow money within your means or within what you can repay. And then if you have done that, you also have, feel that you can control the money that you have. They can save for the future. Generally, I believe that we're saving for the future. There are many things happening nowadays. There are one or two things I'll point out. I'm not going to give us specific things, but there are some things I want to point out, which I found out when I was asking questions even around about investment and things like that. I will point out some things that will guide us. They consider their insurance and protection needs. If you have insurance and protection needs, you consider it. This is part of, everything here, all encompassing financial health. And their insurance needs, and their protection needs, you have to consider them. They can spot scams and know how to avoid fraud. Many people call, oh, I'm calling from your bank. Somebody still called me some days ago. He said, I'm calling from your bank. I said, I'm your customer service. I just smiled. I said, okay, what can I do for you? He said, are you not? And then he now use authoritative voice. Are you not Kemisola Ajiboye? I said, I got you. Of course, I wasn't going to answer him. I knew already no customer will come in from my bank. There are so many things they do. So many things I've come across that scammers do. So you have to be able to spot them. You have to be suspicious to a certain extent. You have to be cautious. But let me apply a word of caution here. At times, we are so suspicious that even when good opportunities come, because of scammers, we close our eyes. So if you want to invest, you have to make wise investment decisions and invest. And why am I saying this? There are some opportunities around. They are very legitimate. We need to investigate. We need to question. We need to look at people that have done it, ask questions, and even study the trend for a while before we make decisions about investment. It has to be wise, because at times we want to save our money. But guess what? If you invest, they say it's good to save in business. That's what we tell business owners. But it's also very good to make investment. even with the money that we have. It's good to make investment. So as we are suspicious of scammers, they are all there every day. They are always doing one. In fact, they are doing strange things. And they are doing stranger and stranger things. So we should be at red alerts for them. But then we should not close our minds to opportunities. Neither should we go about trying to seize every opportunity. We must be very meticulous in investigating any opportunity that comes our way. You know, ask questions, check and recheck and recheck, and then be very prudent, you know, before you even take any decision. Don't go about, you know, there are so many things we can do. You can buy shares, you can do this. What I found out that when you want to do investment, if you have investment that are short term and long term, that's the only thing I would say. It's good to do them. If they are short term, you can invest. After doing all your proper investigation and having evidence, very good evidence from trusted people that have done it. I think that is what we should try. While we are very suspicious and cautious, we should not forget that there are opportunities. And because of this, these scammers and all these fraudulent people, we shouldn't throw away the baby and the bath water. So you make wise investment decisions and then you now invest. Even if you already practice many of this, there's always room for improvement. There's always room. You know, we continue to, like Stephen Covey said, he said, sharpen the saw. When you follow all the good habits he recommended, he now says, sharpen the saw. You're always going through them over and over to make sure you are covering all grounds and you are doing it properly. And then you are improving on whatever you are doing. So forming healthy financial habits takes time and effort. It takes effort. It's not something you can just do like lackadaisically or be relaxed about. You need to, you know, it takes time and effort. You know, when I started trying to do one or two things, I answer, yes, this is serious. It takes time and effort. It takes, you can add, you know, have research, you know, research into things, look into what you can do and all that, you know, what you need to do. So in fact, research by behavioral scientists, reference to the European Journal of Social Psychology, suggests that it takes more than 2 months to 66 days to be exact for a new habit to form and before a behavior becomes automatic. So if you want to form any habit, it takes a lot of time. And that's about 2 months to 66 days to be exact. So, but we need to form this habit because a lot of things are competing for attention. People that want to take advantage of our good hearts, of our compassion, they also are there. You know, it's good to be compassionate because that's another way. Oh, I'm always, somebody told me one day, I just give. No, it's not good. Even if you say you are God-fearing, you say because you have this money, you're always giving. I'm not saying that one should not give because I mean help, but you to be financially healthy, you need to decide how much you are giving out, or maybe percentage, and then apart from percentage, you also need to decide where you want your money to be going. It's very, very important. If not, people will take advantage of you. You need to have proper budgeting. So live within your means. Keep track of your monthly income and expenses. After all is said and done, find ways to free funds to cover your expenses if you need to. Set a budget for how you will spend the money you earn. We have mentioned spend wisely. Get into the habit of dividing up your expenses into needs, wants, and savings or debts, in case they are debts. If it is appropriate, aim to spend 50% of your income after tax. That does not apply to us, but for generally, this is a guide for financial health. On needs, 30% on wants and 20% on savings and debts each month. Sorry, it's re-echoing. Let me see. Just a minute, please. Okay. If you are not saving as much as you would like, or find it hard to cover costs each month, look for ways to reduce your outgoings. The money that is going out, look for ways to reduce it. Because when money is not available, it's not a comfortable thing. It's not comfortable at all. So we need to free money or maybe reduce what we spend. Check, you go all the money that goes out. What can I do without? There are some things that we may not do without, or that we need to reduce, so we can do that. In addition, think about how you might increase your household income. Yes, that's why we advise that maybe we can do small things. I will talk about that later. Because of time, let me just run through this. Build up emergency savings. Aim to build up enough savings to cover at least 3 months of essential expenses in case of emergency. Avoid excessive borrowing and manage your existing debt. Aim to borrow only what I think I mentioned that. Let me just go to for the future of hotel what matters. Sorry, let me just give this part. Okay, let me come to this. Invest wisely and prudently, which I mentioned. Don't forget. Don't call everything scam. Don't call everything scam. There are some things I did, they are not scam, and I'm not recommending anything. Do proper investigation, because you still want extra money. Like I told myself, you want to leave something for your children. I always tell myself before I retire, I said, I want my children to have some things. That is, a good man leaveth, inheritance for his children. It's good. Of course, they are going to work, but there's joy in doing that. It's not a matter of whether it's so big, but there's joy. I remember whatever my parents had, they left it for us, my mother, and also, so it's good to invest wisely. So don't call everything scam. I think I want to emphasize this. I think this is so common in this part of the world, because there's scamming is going on every time, every second. But that is what now happens, is that when good opportunities come our way, we call them scams. Go and look at legit things. Investigate. Take your time. Don't rush. So you can invest. Because when you invest, more money will come in. Get back to work if you can. Some people go back to work. They do. I know some people, they do like 3 days. Some people volunteer, but because they want money, some people do money that pays and work that pays them. So you can get back to work. But observe your health before you do that. You may decide to do some consulting or open a small business. Now, that's why I advise people before they retire, they should have interest in things that they should have interest in things, so that their hands will not just be empty at retirement. Any wages you receive can improve your retirement income picture. Ensure you do what is not beneath your status or dignity, however. That is, don't go and do something that is so beneath that people will say, how has it turned to this for this man or woman? God forbid. So we should not do anything beneath our status or dignity. But we can still work, because some of us are 60, early 60. Some of us, when we retired because of 35 years. So, and there's still strength to do, but we should not overdo. So we can get more income to add to what we already have as our next egg. The more money you earn, the less you will have to take out from your retirement benefits. By being aware of both your dreams and your bottom line, you should be able to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you envision. If you are aware of your dreams and you are aware of how much you have, and then you are taking cognizance of the fact that you can invest and have more money coming in to add to your nest egg, then you should have a healthy financial status. Now, let's get down to basics very quickly. 50-20 rule, 50-20-30 rule. This is a money management that divides your paycheck into 3 categories. Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me? Mrs. Dodola?
You are audible, but it's cracking a little bit.
I don't know. I'm trying to see why. My internet, let me check my internet. My internet is good. Sorry about that. I don't really know what is going on. I
have another gadget around you. Maybe you reduce the volume of that gadget.
I've even turned it off. I mean, I've even gone off it for some time.
Just go on. You are audible.
Because I suspected that. Okay. 50% for essentials, rent, other housing costs. I say all of us have peculiar lives. Don't say that because you are retired, why are you still paying this? Why are you still doing this? Why are you still paying school fees? People have peculiar lives. So that's why I love this particular topic. Some people are still paying rent. Some people have other housing costs. Even the house you are living in, there are costs attached to it. In fact, at times, You are surprised at the cost attached to the house, your own house you are living in. You are paying for electricity, you have, so many things. You want to repair, something broke down, You have to sort this out. What about groceries? What about gas? And what about data and credit cards? So 20% goes for your savings, 30% for everything else. Non-essential expenses like clothing, restaurants, monthly streaming subscriptions. I don't know about you. You find that you are paying some subscriptions and maybe automatically they take it from what you have in your bank account. So all this is what we're calling the 50-20-30 rule. If this does not fit your lifestyle, then you can try the envelope system. Visualizing your money can help you be more aware of how you spend it. So the envelope system works. Take 3 to 5 envelopes, write what each one is for on the outside. Grocery, gas, or whatever it is that you want to write. You can put each aspect in a particular envelope, those that go together. The cash you put in these envelopes will need to cover both real-life purchases and online spending. You must cover all your expenses. That is the beauty of it. Let's say you mark each of them groceries and dining, monthly, maybe some monthly base you pay clothing and miscellaneous shopping. You are only allowed to spend what is in the envelope for each of those categories every month. We want to be healthy. We want to be strict. So you round up each purchase to the nearest naira to help keep your envelopes from becoming messy pockets. So whatever remains from that, you can join it to the next month's savings account. So that's the envelope system. 3 to 5 envelopes, write what you normally spend on and put it there and be strict. You are doing this for yourself. Be strict about it. The simplicity of this method can also be its downside, because if there's too much money around at times, it might be tempting for you to just spend and say, after all, it's my money, like business owners do. They take money and they just spend it and they say, after all, they say, but I'm not touching it, it's my money. And they are spending money and they say, I'm not collecting salary. Excuse me. So we need to be very careful if you are following this system. Then we can also do this. If that envelope system is too complicated for you, you can do the 80-20 plan. Instead of having to categorize every single expense into what is essential and what is not, you just take 20% of your money and deposit it directly into your savings account. There are some apps now that are, they are very good. I used one of them. What I just did, I didn't even know it was there. So I just found out that I could just tell them to withdraw a certain amount. So when it is withdrawn, you can do it with your bank. When it is withdrawn, you find out that you don't miss it, because your mental something is like, I didn't have it in the first instance. But guess what? It's going to savings. So target 20% for savings. And then you know that you are saving some money every month. And then the rest can go out to whatever you need to do, but prudently also. So it's very, very important, prudently. So this one is like compulsory savings, but it's withdrawn automatically from your account. So that, like, for example, let's say your monthly salary comes in, and by the time it comes in, whatever amount it is, the 20% is targeted for savings automatically, so that you don't miss it. Since that money is placed into a separate savings account immediately, it's like you never had it to spend, but it's piling up somewhere. Then you can also create your own budget, because you have a peculiar lifestyle, a peculiar life situation. You can create your own budget. You have spoken about the 50-20-30. You have spoken about the envelope system. You have looked at the 80-20. You can create your own. That is something peculiar to you, because I believe that because we are wise and we want to succeed in this, we will be very intentional in creating a budget or in creating a particular lifestyle of savings or income, of expenses and income that will suit us. Once you know how much you spend, determine your monthly income. So a quick checklist: calculate your expenses, determine your post-tax income, not applicable to retirees, but applicable to other people. Determine your post-tax income. Set your pay-off and saving goals. Keep track of your expenses. Finally, set the amount of money you want to direct to savings and pay off goals. Once you have all these numbers down, you can decide where your money will go each month and what is possible income you can make out of it. Keep track of your expenses. Save all your cash payment receipts and compare them with your card statements at the end of the month. Keep track of your expenses. Keep track. Like I keep track of my expenses. I have a note on my phone where I put all I'm spending. I want to know where the money is going. I want to know where I should not be spending money, where I should reduce my spending. So it depends on you, but be intentional in having a lifestyle of savings and managing your income. See if you are overspending, then create a budget. If creating a budget is proving to be a tough task, you may need to talk to a financial advisor. I know some people, they say they don't know how to spend, they need advice. So they need a financial advisor that will guide them. Some people, it's that bad. I don't believe we are like that because the way where we work, I believe that we don't have somebody that needs financial advisor. But if you need financial advisor, they're out there. They can help you make the most of your money management by creating a plan of budget tailored to your unique needs. And then you will have to follow it very strictly. So when you are aware of your dreams and your bottom line, you should be able to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you envision for yourself. So, thank you. Sorry, the noise is just there. I don't know what is causing the noise. Okay, thank you very much.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very much, Mrs. Jiboye, for that very impactful session. I believe we have one contribution. We all have one contribution or the other. Or maybe we have a question. The floor is now opened to us. We can ask our questions. We can make contributions. Please signify, and then you can unmute and speak. Thank you. Mrs. Jiboye, please, you can stop sharing your screen.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I think Sodeja is signifying. Please, can you unmute, ma, and speak to us? Unmute,
Good
ma.
morning.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning. Permanent Secretary represent my colleague. Good morning, Mrs. Jiboye. Nice having you. Thank you so much. And happy New Year to all of us. I don't know if this one could be answered, but I just wonder if Mrs. Jiboye has anything about cryptocurrency. Do you have an idea? Is it a good thing? Do you have just share a little about it for us? Cryptocurrency.
Okay. Wow. I will be far more other experts to talk about that. I have an idea. I also do a little of this, but it's a very good one. It's a very good one. I want to really, but you need to take your time. You need to take your time to really look at the market, but it's very good and it's very profitable. The Bitcoin is very profitable. Most of the business, most of these businesses that people are doing nowadays, they do it in Bitcoin. When they are are paying you, they pay you in Bitcoin, and you know the Bitcoin is very, so all this Bitcoin, crypto, they are very good. Somebody was discussing this with me. I'm not really looking to that. In my family, they wanted to go into cryptocurrency, but I know it's very good, but I'm not an expert in discussing it.
Can I also chip in something there? I
Please
think it's a very volatile business. It can be good and it can be very volatile. So if you ask me, I won't even advise retirees to go into all this kind of business. It's not advisable. Maybe younger people can go into it. If they lose money, you know, it won't be much of a big deal. But for a retiree, I don't advise it. It's a very volatile business. So high risk business, it can be profitable, and then a lot of people hide under it to scam people. They bring all manners of businesses, cryptocurrency businesses that are not genuine.
That's why I said you need to do investigation.
Yes. That's why it's not,
if you are going to do,
it's not advisable for retiree from my own point of view. That's just my own submission, my personal opinion.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Can I say something about that? Yes.
Okay,
what I can say is, yes, two things I would like to say. You know, I said something that if you want to do any investment, you investigate. So
yes,
for me, after you have done investigation, if you get a good organization that you want to do anything with, I'm not talking about crypto. There are other things that you can do. Now, what you will do is that you don't put so much money in anything. You don't put so much money. You test run it. So that, so that you will not, like you said, because of the volatility. But there are still some very good ones. But it depends on the organization. But one thing I would say, don't put so much money in anything. Like what people say, put the money that you can overlook. So if it's okay, then it's okay. But I know that there are some very good ones. I have some people that have been running them for years. So, but I'm not recommending anything. It's good to do your own investigation. But as I said, be very, very careful. As retirees, don't pump your money. Don't use, like I didn't do that anyway. Everything I did them in segments, different type of investment in segments, and they're all good. All good. So prayerfully too, prayerfully. If your intuition tells you not to go ahead with anything, don't go ahead. Our God is in that intuition. That's my own belief. So don't put too much money on anything. Investigate properly. Look at people that have been doing whatever they have been doing, and then look at the organization. Read a lot on organization before you do anything. Because like I said, we have to be careful, but we cannot avoid investing at all. I don't know whether that is okay, Mr. Dejai.
Yes,
just to balance out what has been said, yes. Don't put too much money in anything. Just spread your money in things. Yes, please.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome, ma'am. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I don't know whether there are still questions.
Thank you very much, ma. I want to use this opportunity to recognize some permanent secretaries retired that joined us. Mrs. Dada joined, Mrs. Okeowo, and I can see Dr. Mrs. Oduwole too signifying. Please, you can unmute and make your contribution or ask your question, ma.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome
for the very beautiful and enlightening lecture. I've gained a lot from it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, my take on this is that anything one wants to embark on, like you have rightly said, one should consider very, very well. But I have seen that when one retires, a lot of scammers in any form will come to you. We are their targets. That I have concluded.
Yes.
different, and everybody should note that even the person that you trust most, it's not by status. Just make sure that you don't give in to people easily. And like Mrs. Jiboye said, don't give out money that you cannot overlook. I have seen, well, it will be 5 years in June that I've retired, but I will tell you that I've gone around it all and I have seen that the target is the retirees. They know you have money and they want to help you spend it anyhow. So that's my note of warning to everybody. And don't say because somebody is so high up, it cannot happen. It can happen. I've seen it happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that contribution, man.
Yes.
Let me also use this opportunity to recognize Mrs. Daudu, a retired permanent secretary. I think she joined us while the presentation was ongoing. So we are still taking questions. If you have questions, contribution, you can signify and make your contribution. Let's feel free to ask our questions or make our contribution. We still have about 4 to 5 minutes to go.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Oh, we thank God for this wonderful information, or I call it teaching, or I call it really game. But my question, Mike, is that the payment is too long because we need the money to invest. What can the government do to make sure you can do from your ends that the money they have been deducting from us, our contributed payment, should be given 2 weeks after retirement, like we did that state? Thank you. My question.
Question again, sir.
Okay, I wanted to
I'm not very clear.
Hello, ma.
Yes, go ahead, sir. I'm not very clear with your question.
Your teaching or quite interesting. But all along, we have been talking of issue of money, investing. But the money they have been deducted for us while we are in service, that's our contribution payment. What if that they are giving to us immediately we retire, a few months after retirement, so that we can spend it on investment?
Okay, you are trying to talk about the contributory pension, the contribution that we've made into our RSA. Okay.
Yes, you are right now.
Yes, according to law, you cannot draw out of that money until after retirement. And then after retirement, there is a percentage that is given to you, 25%, which as lump sum. The remaining 75% will be in your account. It's an investment for you. It's a guarantee that you will always get something every month. Initially, the program withdrawal was to run for 10 years for men and 15 years for women. But as it is now, there is a guaranteed amount that you must be paid throughout your lifetime, even if you did not do annuity. So I think that is good enough. It's good enough. At least it prevents no matter what happens, even if you invest all your lump sum somewhere and it got lost or you are scammed, you will be rest assured that every month, because of that 75% that is still in your RSA, you can get something. I think that is one good thing that government has done for us. Well, there is nothing that has advantage that does not have disadvantage. You know,
Yes,
some people
yes.
are complaining that probably because some of us exited the service as senior officers, as directors, that we can manage our monies and that it should be given to us. But that's not what we signed up for. We signed up for contributory pensions, and that's what the law says, that 75% should be there in our RSA so that our monthly withdrawal, monthly pensions can be guaranteed throughout our lifetime. So that's what that money is meant for. It's not for us to draw it and do business with. So I think I've answered your question. I don't know if anybody has any contribution to that.
I think part of what is
about that.
No, what you have said is perfect, but I think it's talking also about getting it immediately or as quickly as possible for investment as the retiree desires. He wants it to be fast-tracked, the payments. Did I get you right? It's part of what he was asking. He wants it to be fast-tracked.
Well, I think the government is working on that. You know, the pension liability was very huge at the inception of this present administration. But for now, I think they are rounding up paying 2019, those who retired from the service in 2019. And very soon, they will start paying 2020. So I want to believe that by the end of this year, if they have not finished paying the pensions liability, what will be left will be very negligible. So government is actually working on that.
I think it's encouraging, and I'm saying this out of all honesty and sense of responsibility, that it's been done consistently. Like people, after 3 years, you are getting it, then it's getting shorter. The time is getting shorter and shorter. Like Madam said, after a while, it will be just as if you are leaving. Once you conclude your documentation, you'll be able to get your benefits. I think it's getting better. Yeah, it's not, I know it's not, it's easy. But by the grace of God, it will get easier and easier in Jesus' name.
Yes, I also want to use this opportunity to advise us. Let us complete our documentation properly. You know, towards the end of the year, the head of service released an audio, and people who have concerns were asked to call my number. People have been calling in to complain about their terminal benefit that they've not gotten it. Some 2015, some 2018. And I went into research. I discovered that some of these people who are complaining did not properly complete their documentation. Some of them are not even in the country. They did it halfway and left. And they expected that the terminal benefit will be paid. Some of them still collected salary after exiting the service. They were to pay back, they did not. So many issues. So many issues. So anybody that has completed documentation 2019, payment for 2019 is ongoing. All other people earlier than that, who retired earlier than that, probably did not complete their documentation properly. If you have that issue, you can call me. I will find out what the problem is and will let you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs.
Dodola, I found out, can I just say, I don't know whether, when I was doing mine, I found out that they were asking for my code of conduct the evidence of that I did my code of conduct, sorry, this bureau, that I went to the bureau to declare my assets. They asked for my receipts. So it's very funny, some of the things that they ask. So people should just tidy everything, and keep track. You know, like you said, we should not just leave the documentation halfway, or not keep track of what is going on with the documentation. Because, for example, if you keep track, they can call you. If you're available, they can say, oh, we need something. Like they did it for me twice. I did it, but they still needed something. And I gave them all the things that they needed. So I think it's very, very important to do proper documentation and follow up while it is going on. In case they will need your attention for one thing or the other, I think we should tell others like that. And that will also help. So that when there's no problem, everything will be okay. So that when there's no problem,
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I don't know if we can just take one more, okay? Mr. Titus, please, you can unmute and ask your question.
Good morning, my director. My own is
good morning, sir.
I'm just trying to add more to what you have said about documentation as regards pension benefits to our members. From the admin side, based on experience, there is need for us, for the T and HR, to work on the staff before the terminal date. Usually it used to be 6 months before the staff leaves office that they will ask the staff to start preparing all this documentation. The list we have given, they are still there, because I work at as Executive Secretary Local Government Staff Pension Board and a member of the LASPEC family. So many issues that we were able to resolve, but due to some of us not doing the needful. So DHR now should ensure that, for instance, if somebody is going in June this year, it should start from January. Apart from this pre-retirement meeting or whatever they do, they should call the person and assist. Some of us, for instance, if you are working in an agency outside your parent ministry, that's another impediment to this thing we are experiencing. Either the parent ministry will work on that staff, or the agency where the person is serving before retirement, they should ensure that all the records are done properly. And I think it's very easy to do, because when you move from one agency to the other, they will open the file for you and they will ask for some documents so that they build up your records of service from there. So that's the area I want to add to. Okay, can I go ahead, please?
Okay, thank you for that contribution. And I also want to say that we already have Lagos State Public Service Retirement Handbook that is the documentation of all the processes and procedure for retirement and drawing of terminal benefits. Very soon, although it has been in circulation since I think 2017, we have been circulating to different agencies, and we requested that the handbook should be distributed among retiring officers. But the people are still saying it's not popular. Very soon, we are going to upload the handbook on Lagos State website for everyone to access. I believe it's the responsibility of each and every one of us to know what is expected of us. So let us take responsibility. Let us ensure that we do the needful. Let us ensure we do all our documentations so that when our time is due, we can get our terminal benefit without any delay. I think we have come to the end of this program. The time is fast spent. I'm not sure if the PS is still on, but if he's still there, I would like to invite my permanent secretary to say one or two things and then declare the webinar closed.
Thank you very much. All the participants, retired PAMSECs, directors, all other retirees, senior citizens, particularly our facilitator for today, Mrs. Kemi Jiboye. I appreciate you all for listening. I'm on it with you. Unfortunately, I got lost at a point before I could able to reconnect. It's been quite interesting, and I want to admonish us that there is no time anyone cannot fall victim to scammers. And that is why we must be smart and be very, very cautious of those we deal with. So I want to appreciate every one of us and your contributions and the questions. All this will go a long way in assisting those of us who are retired and those of us who are at the verge of retirement. I have picked one or two lessons from this, which I've taken note of, and going to ensure that I walk the talk, which I will admonish every one of us to also explain and do. Walk the talk. Let's keep on preparing. And, God will bless each and every one. So, as soon as the CFR, the rest, please. So, thank you very much, and my other senior colleagues. On behalf of the head of service, I hereby declare the webinar closed. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, sir. And I want to say a very big thank you to our facilitator for today, Pastor Mrs. Kemisola Rosamond Jiboye. Thank you for that very impactful session. And I want to also say thank you so much to all our participants, especially our retired permanent secretaries. So many of them today joined us. I'm always very glad to have you, because it makes us believe that what we are doing is in the right direction. Thank you for always returning. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for always joining us. We are all free to unmute now to say one thing or the other to somebody you have not seen in a long time. Some of us did not put on our videos. Please, let's put on our videos. Let's show our faces. I want to see our beautiful faces. Please, let's put on our videos. Mr. Tairu, put on your video. I want to see your face. I see Mr. and Mrs. Lady Ju. I'm glad to have you here. And there are some active public servants I can see also. I'm looking at this person. Is this Mrs. Adegun? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for being there.
You are free to unmute. Please unmute. Say something to somebody. Unmute. Put your video on. Thank you very much, Mrs. Odejai, for joining us. But I would love to see your face. Wow, chairman of this commission. Good to see your face. Good to see your face.
See you too. Thank you so much for reminding me.
I can see your face now, ma. Mrs. Odeja. You are shining.
Thank you.
Thank you for
My
joining.
grandson is here to see you. Can you see my grandson?
Wow. Wow.
Hello.
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 Hello. God bless you.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
I'm ending the meeting now.
Okay, thank you.
So in another 2 weeks, We'll see again.
By God's
Bye-bye.
grace. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.